All right. So hopefully we're live now. Welcome to our inaugural podcast live stream of the Emerald Party US. We hope to be doing a series of these with discussion topics that you can provide and are the most important for you and your community. And to my left is Richard Idris, and to my right is Chad Wilson. I'm Zach Moore, and the three of us are in the board of the Emerald Party US, and we are hoping to create a larger uh, national party with state chapters. So we're interested in your questions, your thoughts, and we'll share how to get involved and where we've done some initial work with a declaration of sovereignty. So why don't we just get straight into it? And Richard, do you want to play the declaration, or should I share it?
Sounds good. Yeah, if you share it, I can just pop it up on the screen for everyone.
I'll share it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh,
We have all been lied to about our government. The only solution is to embrace transparency. We need truth, peace, and freedom to decide our future. We assert the need to form the Emerald Party US, rooted in the idea of human sovereignty. We recognize that we must significantly rethink the role and efficiency of government.
We hold that corporations are not people and must not be allowed to shape our elections and policies. We advocate for the abolition of corporate citizenship from judge-made law. We are dedicated to human citizenship and human rights. We assert that the people have a right to elections run with integrity as the basis of legitimate government, and the right to direct democracy to achieve them.
We strive to free the public from lies, corruption, and fraud. We embrace peace and economic prosperity over all forms of war. We are committed to the protection of our civil liberties and control of our own bodies. We commit to stewardship of clean water, air, and soil. There is no bodily autonomy in a toxic future.
We stand against the weaponization of science, government authority, and identity. We stand for protecting children and ending worldwide slavery. We must redesign our education and healthcare systems from the bottom up with communities and their knowledge in mind. We strive towards a sustainable economy with a sovereign money system. We emphasize cooperation, caring for our communities, and seek to unleash our limitless creative potential to solve problems. Join us and be part of the change. We will decide our future together.
Join us and be a part of the change. We will decide our future together.
Join us and be a part of the change. We will decide our future together.
Join us and be part of the change. We will decide our future together.
all right. Let me stop sharing here. Cancel, stop sharing. Okay, so that video is available on our YouTube channel. All of our social media is at Emerald Party US, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we have several groups in Facebook. Chad, you want to lead off with kind of how we came to build this document and why?
Sure, Zach. Thank you. I appreciate your work and of course Richard's hard work on helping put this together. The Emerald Party US, it it was born out of frustration of the the two-party system and the third-party wing of that two-party system. I met Zach and some other people through the Green Party, actually, and came to realize that the structure and the way that these parties are operating from the top down are creating this culture that is not conducive to actual change. So out of that frustration of trying to put energy in and seeing other people waste their energy, joined up with some other people to start the Emerald Party US. You can't change somebody else's organization. So you have to build a new one.
Yeah, there was a lot of frustration around the Green Party, and including someone, some of the people that we knew, and it did not seem like they were expanding, were really interested in the electorate. It seemed very insular and putting people off. They also weren't exploring the wide range of issues that the bandwidth of issues that seemed needed to be talked about in this country. Positions like on the mandate, to mandate injections into people with experimental treatments during COVID, positions about Russia, or even the fraud going on with Russiagate, which turned out to be a fraud. We were correct about that. Which were all abuses of government. We're not really interested in being democratic light, and to some degree, it seems like the Green Party has striven to be democratic light and just to move the Democratic Party instead of put together positions and campaigns that could win, with an independent base.
Controlled opposition, as it would seem, in my view. Some of the issues that happen in a party seem so small as far as what it would take to correct them. So some of these problems and issues in parties are purposely ignored in order to allow the type of culture to continue. And that's basically what we're trying to do here, is create a real culture, a new culture of how to be engaged politically. And we're probably home for more independence. People that have recognized and understand that we have an election integrity issue. However you want to say it, our voices aren't matching up with what's being done in our country and in our name. So I which I think is an important point to talk about within this Declaration of Sovereignty, is we're acknowledging these issues to say, okay, we know that we have these election integrity issues. We know that we have all these things going on. But the point is we still have to address them. We still have to have a political arm, a platform, a vehicle that is going to change these things or help influence and push and do it politically. And as Zach likes to say about politics, is who decides? Who decides? Richard?
Well, hopefully you can't hear my dog right now. He's very excited for my wife to get home. Yeah, he's an honorary party member as well. But I mean, I think one of the most sobering facts, if you look at the way that politics is run in this country, is less than 50% of folks are engaged in politics. It's something like, what, a quarter of all voters might be registered Democrats, and maybe around that same amount might be Republican, and the rest of folks are independents. But then if you look at things, you break it down based off of voter engagement, most folks aren't even registered to begin with. So there's an even broader group of people than the folks that are even surveyed that they don't have a reason to care. So in my mind, in founding the Emerald Party, the idea was to create basically a proof of concept for folks to be invested in politics again. on a local level. There's a reason that you should care about things like who your local district attorney is, who's on your city council, the policies that are passed at a local level, that current parties, current political dialogue, there's no space for that to happen because people get focused on a reality TV show every 2 to 4 years instead of staying engaged. And then they just check out. So in my mind, that was what got me charged up and wanting to get involved.
Well, in the country, it's kind of hit a tipping point. Like you said, most of the biggest part of the electorate, the people who are registered, are independents. And this really hasn't happened before in 100 years that I know of. So, and people refer to the UTA party. And so the Green Party has had 25 years since Ralph Nader, give or take, and haven't been able, for a variety of reasons, haven't been able to get ignition going, raise some money. But, so there's always room for more dialogue. We have one party, one group of people, maybe libertarians, if you throw them in, and independents, by and large, without question, are opposed to these unending wars. And so what people call the Uniparty, because the same corporations own the Democratic Party, they own the Republican Party. Maybe they give twice as much to the Republicans because the defense contractors make a lot more that way, and pharmaceuticals make a lot more that way. But it's, either way, they sell us out. So discussion, we framed a lot of this as a declaration of sovereignty, partly because one of the biggest problems we have is the distribution of wealth that has occurred from an uneven system. We're in the new Gilded Age. Going back, you could look back in the 1890s when you had robber barons and trusts and monopolies, and we're there again. And what happened to that free economic enterprise system? Well, it was kind of crushed, and people pushed very hard back in the other direction. And we need that. We need social movements. But what came out of that time and has really been a problem is corporate citizenship that came from simply one judge writing a footnote in a paragraph. No act of Congress. The president never signed a document saying, hey, let's put into the Constitution that corporations are people. Well, this is a problem, and it goes way back before Citizens United. It's just this generation understands that's when campaign finance got called speech, and it was off to the races. Whoever had the most money was going to win. Their candidate was going to win. Oh, that's not how, even in a republic, it's supposed to work. I realize we have a big, big country. We don't have Greek democracy where we all know each other or anything like that. But at least, have some reflection in the legal system of the will of the people. So we're not really sovereign if our laws and our government are not reflected by the will of the people, vice versa. We have an oligarchy, and that's not good. That's rule by corporation.
Yeah, speaking of the will of the people, there's a map that I got queued up. I want to show everybody. Just it's what kind of woke me up to politics a little bit. The United States of Apathy. I love this interactive map. It breaks down what the 2016 election would have looked like if not voting was counted as a vote for nobody, and it shows you on electoral breakdown of how nobody would have won 445 electoral votes. So if you want to know where the base is for a political party other than the Democrats or the Republicans, it's all those gray areas.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like a lot of rural America is left out.
It's a lot of rural America. I mean, it's even densely populated areas. Like the Salt Lake Valley in Utah is pretty dense, and most of that was folks that were just unplugged. And I mean, I grew up there. I know the reason they're unplugged. Everything got redistricted, so Salt Lake itself is separated into 3 corners of the state, so there's no voting block there, so people don't care. And that
the
stuff
entire
happens.
State of Arizona.
Yeah, the whole state of Arizona. The outskirts of the Bay Area are gray here because those people don't care. They get led by the folks in San Francisco and Oakland. Like there's just a lot of apathy. You look down here, Central California, even Los Angeles is apathetic. So let that be a little bit of perspective for folks.
So if
I
the
love
point
that.
of a candidate and the point of a political party is to generate candidates that have an ear toward what the electorate wants, the people who are voting, this is kind of like a job interview. And if what the map you just showed means that a lot of people would not be hired, they would not be hiring a congressman because they don't feel like could hire anybody to do the job.
Well, and the funny thing is the whole narrative of our politics is a small group of people. It's like you gotta think. There's even when it comes to independent media, there's still these small little cliques, small little bubbles that pump out this narrative or the counter narrative, and it echoes larger than the actual space of it. So I think it ties in with what you're saying is the electorate, most of it's either not involved or just tapped out because they're tired of all the BS. In Emerald Party US is the idea is to have a space to come to where we can have these conversations, have the nuance be addressed in order to reach a real consensus. Because part of the problem has to do with the the spectrum of conversation, of dialogue, being able to only talk about certain pieces of an issue. Then that's what another reason that prompted us to get this rocket and rolling. So
Well, we were talking just the other day about what does sovereignty mean, and one of I think a lot of people in this country woke up when the COVID mandates for injections all of a sudden crossed party lines. People lost their jobs, were threatened with losing their careers, could not talk about this, and this includes doctors, were threatened with losing and lost their careers, or faced lawsuits or action by states, um, if they simply did their job and talked about science and had a critical perspective at all. So one statement that we made in the video is that there's no bodily autonomy. In other words, you don't have control of your body, which was a big issue here and tends to be a huge issue for people in the abortion debate about who's in control of my body. Well, this took it and expanded it to men, and so we also said there's no bodily autonomy in a toxic future, right? That there's seems to be a lot of revelations in the medical fields that maybe the last 50, 60 years we've hinged dietary prescriptions on people who fudge their data, that they just sort of made it up or that they were bribed by an industry. And I'm sure people will also have that feeling with some of the pharmaceutical industry. What is it now? The second or third leading cause of death in the United States is taking your pharmaceutical pills as prescribed by doctors, not overdosing. It's just that they kill you. I mean, we can't continue on this pace. We have to look at these institutions, educational institutions, military institutions, certainly, which has trillions of dollars of money of our money that has gone, and they can't even tell you what they've spent it on. They can't audit and tell you, well, here's where we spent $1 trillion. They can't tell you that. So this is as you start the words criminal enterprise starts coming off of your lips, not necessarily the people who are following orders, but the people who are certainly in control of those monies and know where all that went. So we have bureaucracies that aren't serving the people, are inefficient at best, and yet people feel this huge debt burden in our economy because of it. You know, Woof. Well, what are some ways maybe that people let's take a look at our webpage. This is something I know it's not all that spectacular, but we should at least introduce what our webpage is, and allow people to see that. We've kind of chit chatted a little bit about the declaration. Um, and what do we have here? So home, there's our platform, donate. You can see our declaration there. There's a donate button, that green donate button. We'd love for people to donate $5 a month or $5 one time, $25, and help us do advertising. Um, Chad, you wanted to talk about who we are, about us. Maybe we should go over that part.
Well, I was actually wanted to hit a note real quick about the division. We've got so much division. I mean, and it's on purpose. That's the play, is to divide and conquer, and in everywhere you can, the identity politics is rampant. I wanted to address one of the things that, like, COVID, for instance, has done, has divided families and friends and people that you've known your whole life, and it's divided people. I mean, even at the time, it was worse. I think people are really starting to catch on to what's going on. But there's so many people that again, that's loved each other, that spent their whole lives being friends, or their family, and now they can't sit in a room together, or they're all wound up about their political beliefs, or their emotions, or their feelings. That stuff is natural, because that's the playbook. That's the idea. The game is to take whatever they can and create this emotional outrage that ends up dividing people, to where people stop understanding what it is that people are feeling. And a lot of times, again, people are feeling their things off lies. So we have to reach people where they are. Doesn't mean we have to agree with people. Doesn't mean that we have to necessarily like, or doesn't mean we're always not going to get engaged and get caught up ourselves. But I think it's the core point of realizing that we have been lied to, and that we have to reevaluate everything, reprocess in a way that is a healthy for us individually, and then for as a country.
Yeah, we certainly, as a party, we need to focus on how this plays out, or this or that policy plays out. And there's been a very big emphasis over the last 10 years on what people call identity politics. And I think that's really done a disservice to a lot of the social movements that those tropes have been exercised from. For example, a lot of civil rights organizing, or police violence organizing, has gotten moved out of kind of the traditional community organizing, and mediaized and weaponized in a way to divide people, and in some ways to use things that are completely counterproductive. And I think that that's not helpful. Identity politics shouldn't be a weapon. It should be a basis by which people talk to each other, about their traditions, their families, and what concerns them, just like any electorate. But it's been used as a tool to divide people, to put people in boxes, to make conflict irreconcilable, that you can't have conflict resolution. We don't believe that. We believe in conflict resolution quite a bit, including striving towards peace at all levels, and economic, cooperation is possible. So a lot of those narratives, you're right, and a lot of those narratives, not only do they lead to a place where no one wants to go, they are also based upon gaslighting and things that aren't actually so black and white. They're more complex, and people have managed to work through those problems over the ages when they're given a chance. When the temperature's lowered a little bit, and we have the right dialogue. So I'm interested. I think that's what independents are interested in too. I think they're not interested in having such ideological identification. Some of the things that we talk about, we've gotten responses from libertarians, and some of the things that we talk about seem to have Green Party pedigree. And quite frankly, if you look at the majority of the of American opinion, they're tired of wars. They want a better economy. They're not interested in ideological or identity-based fights that divide them with their neighbor and their families. I think they're sick of it, like you say.
Definitely sick of it. Definitely sick of it.
Yeah. So who are we? Let's go back to our website, if you don't mind, Richard. And anybody want to read it, or should I read it? It's small. Let me see, make it bigger. Do you see that little part that says Emerald Party, who about us? We published the declaration there. And let me make this bigger. So it says what we wrote is the Emerald Party is an independent political party with a unique focus on stewardship, sovereignty, which we've touched on a little bit. We can come back to stewardship, and eliminating government corruption through direct political action. We're organizing politics, political parties. Social movements need to do their thing. We can't do one without the other, but we can never concede who decides for government if we're going to have government. We stand upon the 4 pillars of nonviolence, ecological wisdom, justice for all, and democracy and governmental policy. Here's the green pedigree that Chad mentioned. We call for the abolition of corporate citizenship exclusively in favor of human sovereignty, not corporations, not robots and algorithms, that the people are the ones who decide, and ecological stewardship. With your help, we're diligently raising funds to build state affiliates. So if you're interested in organizing with some friends to start an organization either locally in your city or as a state group, let us know. Gain ballot access in 50 states and register voters. So that's what a party means. That's what we're doing. Once we hold a convention, perhaps in a year or two, ratify a platform. Our views are introductory and designed to stimulate motion. We're not the final word on these ideas and these concepts. Ultimately, the convention will be what our affiliates feel should be the boundaries of what we're working on. But this is kind of to give it a starting point. We will apply for recognition as a national party with the Federal Elections Commission. So we are not recognized yet as a national party. Join us and join us in our mission. We also go in about emeralds. Anybody want to go over that? Chad, I nominate you.
Yeah. Let me pull it up so it's a little. I can see it a little better
bigger
too. Yes, sir.
Because this was kind of a very interesting turn once we started looking into some ideas.
Yeah, because okay, here we go. Emerald was being thrown around, and it made sense to go ahead and do it because of the symbolism, and it just felt right. But emeralds in their brilliant color have been associated with sovereignty, loyalty, peace, growth, security, and the heart. How better to name an independent political party determined to end government corruption through truth and transparency? The color is also associated with wealth and abundance. The government we choose must serve to make all the people of America wealthier with each generation, not more and more indebted wage slaves. It is time for the jewel of the kings to represent human sovereignty human citizenship, and human achievement for all Americans. And we particularly like one description. Emerald hues denote balance and support our capacity to create an equilibrium of positive emotions between our minds and our hearts. It infuses vitality and enthusiasm by restoring depleted energy. It nourishes our capacity for unconditional love in both ourselves and others.
All right. So put your hand over your heart and be part of the change, right? Well, what about stewardship? That word keeps coming back up. What does stewardship mean to you, Richard?
Okay, dealing with the technical side of things here. I mean, the way that I see it, the government right now just isn't set up in a way where the value of resources is just contingent on their economic value. So in terms of preserving things that we might find useful but don't drive a profit, I mean, we see it happen a lot, even in things as simple as like parks. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Or when it comes to expanding the rights to drilling, when it comes to energy independence being used as a buzzword for taking a lot of resources out of our environment. My cat is very hungry, so I'll kind of keep my comments short for now.
So paying attention to our furry friends is also ecological.
Yeah, exactly. My cat does not think I'm being very much of a steward right now.
Well, maybe they'll make an appearance on the show at some point. One thing that we haven't gotten into that the Green Party does believe in is what they call a climate emergency, and it's quite interesting when you're not allowed to discuss that or debate that, and when you have atmospheric scientists with fairly good credentials saying, by the way, it's all joke, like it's not real. Like that's not how carbon is not how temperature changes. Um, so I look forward to those debates and discussions. If you're going to have a policy, you've got to be able to debate it. There is no such thing as settled science. That's I think Thomas Kuhn's actually talked about that in his work on paradigms. Is like that's kind of like, does this match everyone's favorite idea? Is that, but you're not doing science anymore. You're doing politics or religion at that point. If you stop looking at data, you stop asking questions, and you stop inquiring or being skeptical. You know,
And
yeah.
And how can we not be skeptical with everything that's going on? And how can you blame anyone for being skeptical or not trusting certain narratives? So I don't, in some of the things that our positions, some of our positions are, take note that, well, are because of the information that we've been already given and processed and know what's going on. So we're going to be educating and giving information on all these individual issues and things that have occurred. And we want, again, to have these conversations, have this dialogue, and to not shut people down for having their questions or concerns. Because as Zach was saying, with science, nothing is ever settled in that manner. So you have to be able to ask questions. You have to be able to go through that process.
Well, you might have been wondering, Chad, what kind of T-shirt I'm wearing here, and it is in fact an Emerald Party shirt. Where can people get an Emerald Party shirt, or my favorite, a Dank Not Wank cup?
That is his favorite. That is
my favorite. Absolutely.
Well, you can go to Emerald Party US.
So we have a store,
emeraldpartyus.org, and we have a store on our website, and you can go and pick up some cool little wear and collectibles. Some of these I did, but it is a
Yeah.
collective effort.
Scroll right and left.
Some of the
here.
ones,
Richard, scroll right and left.
some of the ones
there we go.
did
Socks.
design.
Everyone can use some socks. Who couldn't use Emerald Party socks? And that shirt, the white and E shirt, that's a pretty
You
cool
get
cup.
a coffee cup. I like that cup.
Yes. We have catchphrase coffee cups.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Shot glass.
Simple stuff. And what we wanted to do too with the merchandise
I like
and
the hoodie.
And the apparel, we wanted to make sure that
Pet
it was
bandana.
the price was real moderate, because the idea is for you guys to be wearing it, for people to ask what it is, so to as conversation starter and to get people excited about it.
Phone
So
case.
we're not trying to break the pocketbook for this.
These are advertising tools. You can start a conversation, disrupt the corrupt. That's a good one. And stickers too. Buttons, stickers. Easy to get them. Yeah. Easy. So you click on it. We accept credit cards. You can also donate on a recurring basis. And that really is, none of us are paid. Let's say that. None of our, so we have 5 people on our board. Christine and Joe are working with family issues this night, but they'll eventually join us. None of our, we've bootstrapped this with our own money, and we're not making any money on it, and don't intend to until there's a point where we hire staff, you know. But as a board, we look, we could look at this. This is something you can fill out and let us know what's important and what's the top 3 priority for you, you know, and maybe write one that's not in there. You can volunteer, you can run for office. We intend to provide training for people and a variety of things. We are interested in doing things better. We're process oriented. So that's an idea of what we've got going on there. What else might be interesting worth talking about tonight?
Well, I mean, immediate actions that folks can take if they're interested and want to learn more. Like Zach said, if you check out our website, emeraldpartyus.org. You scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the Join Us form. You fill that out. We add your information to our list of interested contacts. We'll reach out to you to coordinate to join us at one of our volunteer meetings if you want to get involved in that way. If you want to learn more about us through the newsletter, you just sign up for that. And we're going to make that a recurring thing with updates, as well as we're planning on doing more regular events like live streams or like Twitter Hangouts to be able to get some, digital FaceTime with folks. And
let us know if there's somebody that we need to try and get on.
Yeah. And I mean, the main part is to stay tuned, because this is supposed to be something that's very organic and it's very like locally based. So as soon as we find folks that are interested, we can start, putting the wheels in motion to help with organizing a local party, a local chapter. I know there's been chatter in certain areas. In particular, we got a lot of folks who were interested in Southern California, I noticed, who had signed up. And then Texas was one of the other big ones.
Yeah. Well, those are some of those areas that are not represented well.
Exactly. So,
I also noticed almost all of New York except Albany was blank. That's pretty interesting. So Democratic rule is not turning out to what you thought it was it? All right. Well, what about our social? Where can people get a hold of us?
What's Emerald Party US? Yeah, all our social.
And on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook.
Instagram.
Yeah, we have an Instagram now too. We also have a Twitch. We've been broadcasting on Twitch as well during this time. So thank you to anybody who's viewing us over on Twitch
and a Rumble,
Amazon servers. Yeah, we gotta. Do we have a Rumble yet? Is that active?
We have a Rumble.
Okay, I don't think there's a way for us to get that cross stream going. We'll have to figure that out, because if we could live broadcast there too, that would be sweet. See, my cat agrees.
You know, your cat is clearly meowing about the bandana. You know, if you really, I you know, think I hear it saying why I want a bandana here. You see the cat bandana? Here we go. I'll share. Here in the store, every dog and cat needs a bandana with the Emerald Party. And see, people say, Emerald Party, what's that?
And if that fits you and you want to wear it, feel free.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, unless anybody else has anything they wanna add, um,
just that, there's other political parties starting up, a lot of third parties starting to pop up, and again, the idea with Emerald Party is to correct the issues that are preventing real change, and that are preventing these organizations and these movements from having a political arm in order to get these changes, because it has to do with the culture of the organization that you're getting behind. And if those organizations get captured or have people in them that create a toxic environment, don't allow for real dialogue, real democracy, real conversation. I mean, it hinders us all. So that's what Emerald Party's here for. So feel okay with being angry, with being upset, with being confused, with being misunderstood. Feel all these emotions are natural and normal because of what's going on. And this party is for you guys, for us to actually change things with real policy and real movement.
Yeah, I might say, coming out of the experience of learning more about how the National Green Party is so top heavy and there's a lack of grassroots organizing that's effective. I mean, the last electoral cycle, they got cut in half, which is the wrong direction. And so we really inverted the way a national organization and made dictates anything that local getting involved at the local level and on the state level is really going to be how this party moves forward, and having candidates that learn from each race. And we are interested in helping those candidates and helping the state parties become as effective as possible. I remember that when Hillary Clinton ran, there was discussion in the Democratic National Party that they funneled all the money and took all the money from the local races, and so then they just gutted the capacity of their local parties. So that you can't do that, right? You really have to build uh, leadership and build campaigns and build infrastructure. So it's about people organizing. And so we need an organizing culture. That's what we're committed to. And we're interested at the national level, this board, in terms of helping train and get as many resources as possible for on the ground organizers. So let me say that's our priority. Um, at the end of the story, that's how we win. And we intend to win. We're not interested in doing this for symbolic victories. We're interested in building an organization that can help you decide. All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up. And thank you, everyone, for watching our inaugural foray into live streaming. And we will have many more. We look forward to some with guests. Thank you,
So
Richard.
guests, conversations and a lot of fun going after these people too. The corrupt. We're gonna go on the offense. So get ready.
Wait,
Get ready.
we're going to disrupt the corrupt. Isn't
We are
that
going to
Chad?
disrupt the corrupt. Exactly that. So go to emeraldpartyus.org. Go to the store. Go grab some merch. Go out there, wear it, give it away if you want, and then donate. Come back. Add us on your socials, and get ready.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, Emerald. See you next time.
Yeah, take care, everybody. And the musical chairs of the pictures, everybody shifting around. Hopefully we'll iron that out. We'll figure out a procedure. But in the meantime, enjoy as I slowly learn how to operate the stream studio. Thanks for your patience.
We're all learning as we go.
That's how you know we're really grassroots. If we showed up and this was like 5-star Hollywood style production values, people would be like, okay, they're getting bankrolled by somebody. No, we had to pull out Pocket Lint to fund the Streamlabs today. So,
but I just can't wait for the next holiday where people are buying the Disrupt the Corrupt cup.
I can dig it.
Dig it. Disrupt the corrupt. That's what you want. You need to take that at your workplace and see how many people respond. Everyone needs one of those cups. All right, let's shut her down, and we'll see everybody next time.
Yep, take care, everyone.